Post-Industrial Live. For those who aren't quite certain what post-industrial is, we are an outlet that covers the Midwest and Appalachia and other post-industrial communities. But in addition to covering them, we also celebrate them. We are particularly big fans of the kind of places that have had to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps to reimagine themselves in an era after their economic floor has been yanked out from under them, let's so to say, and find that new direction forward. And so if you want to get to know more about us at Post Industrial, go to postindustrial.com and be sure to sign up for our free newsletter there. It comes out 5 days a week and you'll get the latest stories that we produce and more from there. Not only stories, but columns. We're really big fans of highlighting the arts and talking to folks who make our community what it is. So just to give you an idea about what we're about, we have a brand new story today, this morning, about how in Northwest Georgia, which is a big part of our coverage area, the eyes of the world are on that particular area because there's a runoff election today between there's a runoff election. So let me go back real quick. There's a runoff election between a Democrat and a Republican, of course, that are vying to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene, who resigned a few months ago from the Congress. It pits Democratic candidate and former Army General Sean Harris against an Attorney General Clay Fuller, Republican. Now, it's really interesting to see this play out because Sean had previously run against Marjorie in 2024 and lost, of course, but in that loss, he did gain 37% of the vote, which was a lot more than folks had imagined in a district that had elected Marjorie Taylor Greene and is pretty fairly Republican led there. But times have changed, and he has not only won in the first round of an election that had multiple candidates in it, but since then he has raised millions of dollars to fill his campaign war chest to give him a distinct advantage over Clay Fuller. Now, Clay Fuller, of course, endorsed by Donald Trump, but in special elections leading up to the midterms, Democrats have done really, really well. So it's not surprising that a lot of folks are saying that Sean Harris has a good chance of defeating Clay Fuller to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene in Northwest Georgia. And if that happens, it will be quite the shock to the Republican majority in the House and send yet another decisive victory in the Democrats' win column and create potential for that next midterm to be even more decisive for Democrats in the House and perhaps even in the Senate. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on that election today in Northwest Georgia, Georgia's 14th district. It's a really big deal. I hope that you get a chance to check out our coverage there at postindustrial.com. We've actually spoken to Sean Harris, who's running as a Democrat to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene against Clay Fuller. We've spoken to him many times. And if you go to postindustrial.com right now, you'll see in the story that we have up about this election, there's a link in there to our conversation with Sean Harris. I want you to check that out. I'll include a link to that in the description later. But we're really excited to keep providing you this kind of coverage because it's imperative that people get a better idea of what post-industrial communities like rural Georgia, like the one where I grew up in rural Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Kentucky, the Carolinas, Tennessee, what's going on in these places, because they formed for years the economic backbone of America and in coal manufacturing and steel. And now they're being asked to do it again with fulfillment centers, data centers, wind turbine farms, solar farms, and the like. They're the backbone of the new economy. So it's imperative that we know more about these places because traditionally, a lot of traditional media, mainstream media, has done a terrible job of covering these places. They only pay lip service to them once in a while and decide to pop in every 4 years and take the temperature and pretend like they really know what's going on in these places. but they don't. And the reason I know this is because I used to work for a lot of leading mainstream news media. I've reported for USA Today, I've reported for the New York Times, I've reported for Time magazine, and I worked in cable and network news for years. So I know how these folks think and the way that they perceive a lot of these places in the Midwest and Appalachia, what we call post-industrial communities. And it's not good. So, like I was saying previously, we don't just cover these places, we celebrate them. I am a big fan of a lot of the small communities I've come to know in post industrial America, places like Youngstown, Ohio, Wheeling, West Virginia, Gary, Indiana, places that have been much maligned and had gone through some really hard times. I love these places and I've gotten to know really great people there, fantastic, creative people, lots of great artists. You could check out more about them at Post Industrial as well. So do me a favor, go there right now, go to postindustrial.com, check out the news stories we have up about this election in Georgia between Democrat Sean Harris and Republican Clay Fuller to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene. And also check out our other coverage. We just recently did a story about a quartet of fantastic artists being featured in a Pittsburgh gallery show right now that you want to check out, and all of our arts coverage. You get to understand that there are really amazing people in the post industrial community. And I hope you get a chance to discover them for yourself. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.